So what you guys saw in that first little film clip, that's about as good as I can do out here on the Delta right now. It's tough. It's been a grind for me anyhow. So with that, we're going to take a look at a few pictures, then we'll get right into the report. All right, thanks for joining me. You're watching In Deep on the Delta. This is the fishing report for March 6th, and I want to start off with a shout out to Jim Horton from Real Custom Boat Works. And I want to thank Jim for hosting the Coast Guard boat inspection last week out here at Paradise Point. And it's just a good service that Jim is providing. We had bass fishermen, we had striper fishermen, we had ocean anglers, we had guys that are coming out from the lakes to get that inspection. And it's just a good deed that Jim's doing, and having everybody have their boat inspected, safety inspected, and have everything up to snuff just makes it safer for all of us out here. So thanks a lot, Jim, and glad that you're hosting that, and hopefully we'll see you out here again next year. And remember, that's Real Custom Boat Works. So if you guys have any customizing that you need on your boat, especially for you guys that are up in the lakes, maybe downriggers and things like that, Jim can customize your boat for you. He's also a Lowrance dealer. If you're looking for anything Lowrance, Jim could help you with that, and he also does installation. So with that, let's get into a little bit of river business, and then we'll get right into the report. We'll start off with the bass hole. Once again, I keep reminding you on this, coming up quick. March 16th, they've got the tackle swap, and also they've got a team circuit tournament coming up here in March, and a team open tournament coming up. 2 tournaments from the bass shop. I neglected to write down the dates on that, but if you want any information, call Rob out at the bass hole, and he'll give you all the information for the tackle swap or their upcoming tournaments. NorCal Bass also has a tournament coming up on the Delta, March 23rd. That's out at Ladd's. If you have any questions, you can give Dave a call out at NorCal Bass, and he'll answer all those questions for you. Other than that, oh, guess what? March 13th, the California Striped Bass Association, the West Delta chapter, that's in Antioch. They're having their monthly meeting. I'm going to be out there. We're going to be talking about striper fishing, talk about the Delta a little bit. I'm going to go out and get to meet all the members out there. I'm looking forward to that, so hopefully we'll see you out there and say hello. But if you want to go out to that meeting, that is the California Striped Bass Association West Delta chapter out in Antioch, and that's March 13th. Let's get into the darn report. Talk about Clear Lake. And by the way, mother lode, I haven't got a whole lot of reports this last week. I know we had some weather come in, but the general consensus for everywhere from Don Pedro to Maloney's and around the mother lode, it's cooled off a little bit. Not quite as good as it's been the last few weeks. Everything's resetting because of the weather. But I want to start off with Clear Lake, and we'll talk about the Clear Lake Crappie Closet Crappie Tournament last week. And you got to check out these pictures and listen to the weights that came in on this tournament. First place was 14.5 pounds with a 3.9 pound kicker. This is a 5-fish crappie limit for 14.5 pounds. 3.9 kicker. That was Noah Hernandez. Armando Hernandez was second. He had a 13.9 pound bag with a 3.4 pound kicker. Third place was Azel Colton. He had 12.5 with a 2.7 pound kicker. And like I said, this is a 5-fish limit of crappie. Man, those are some big crappie. Great job, guys, and great job for Marlin, giving those guys a chance to get out and have some competition and fish for crappie. With that, I also talked to Clear Lake Outdoors. I talked to Dave out there. They had their tournament, their open tournament, team tournament last week. 24 boats. Had a low turnout. I guess the weather was horrific, 25 to 30 mile an hour winds. Very tough fishing conditions. 27 pounds won that tournament. Midfield was about 16 to 22 pounds. Now, 27 pounds is a respectable weight, but at Clear Lake, people have been busting in 30 and 35 pound bags for the last couple weeks. So Due to the weather, it was very tough. And like I think most of the people had to stay real close to the ramp. You don't want to get out on the big lake when it's blowing 30 miles an hour. Now, the report from Dave is that Clear Lake right now is not good, but it's consistent. Boats are catching between 5 and 10 fish per boat, and that limit is generally running about 15 to 20 pounds for the average guy. So there's some nice fish coming in. The fish are spread out. Dave said that because of that weather, the lake is resetting right now. They're getting about 48 to 52 degree water temps, and it's a little bit cloudy. There are big fish coming in. I think last week sometime there was a 15.2 pound fish that was weighed in. So there are some huge fish, and the guys that are head hunting are still picking up big fish, but all in all, it's slowed down a little bit. With that, it will rebound, and as we get this warmer weather, Dave's looking for just a few days of warm weather to kick that lake in. I highly recommend for you guys that are coming from out of the area to stop in at Clear Lake Outdoors and get the up-to-date skinny on what's going on. And everybody that I have kind of pushed in there, I get responses from saying these guys have been really helpful. They take their time. They get you set up so that they want you to be successful when you go up there. So don't be afraid to go in. Tell Dave you watch the report, and you need an up-to-date situation on what's going on up there and what's happening. They'll take care of you. So that's Clear Lake Outdoors. He also said there's a couple kayak tournaments, an ABA tournament up there and a BAM tournament coming up. So you guys that may fish that, let me know what's going on. I'd like to give you guys a shout out when you have those tournaments. With that, let's start with the Delta report. I'm going to start off with the first report from Cam Cardoza. Most of you guys know Cam, and he reported that last week his little tournament that they do out there is February 27th. They had 10 boats. It took 23 pounds to win, 18 pounds for second with an 8.8 kicker. Right now, that's a real respectable tournament weight for the Delta. But remember, that was February 27th, and since then, we've had our own situations here with weather and rain and wind. So the Delta has not been kicking out those big bags in the last 4, 5, 6 days. One thing before I go on, I want to, this isn't funny. I mean, let's just say we're going to laugh with him and not at him. But Cam, you guys know Cam, he's had boat problems for the last year. On and off, having a boat, no boat, engine problems, so on and so forth. So I talked to Cam a couple weeks ago. He didn't have a boat. He decided that he's going to pack up his car, go out and fish the bank on the Delta. Good for you, Cam. Showed me his car, buried in the mud, out in the field, down to the axle. So now he doesn't have a boat, and he also doesn't have a car. So with that, that's the hard luck story of the week. Cam, sorry for your hard luck. I know you're going to be catching fish, and I appreciate and I look up to you for having that desire to go out there. But you know what? If you're going to fish the bank on the Delta, you're going to go through these farmlands or whatever to get out there, you might want to buy a four-wheel drive. Anyhow, thanks for the report, Cam. All right, what's going on after that? Let's just take a look at what the conditions are here on the Delta. You're going to find anywhere from about 1 to 5 feet of visibility. Water temperature somewhere around 55 to 58 degrees, depending on if you're out here in the morning, in the afternoon. Clarity is fine. Everything's good out here. The fish just have not been really on a great bite. And that goes for both stripers and largemouth bass. I got a report from Joey Price from Priceless Fishing. Joey did a little striper trip the other day. They got 5 or 6 fish, but he's fishing out west. We're talking from Big Break, west of Big Break, out around Pittsburgh. And they picked up 4 or 5 fish. They did get lucky and I'm going to say lucky. Joey's a good fisherman. They got an 11-pound fish, and they were real happy with that. We got a picture of that up there. But all in all, everyone that Joey talks to is reporting slow on stripers. There are some guys catching fish trolling out west, but they're generally smaller fish. I can tell you that the guys that are going out of the Central Delta, out of Lads and Paradise Point here, it's been pretty tough. There's a few small fish being caught, but not a whole lot going on. All the fish that I can see and that I hear of and people are talking about that are being caught in the Central are resident fish. We need to have these fish come in from the bay here in a few weeks, and hopefully the striper fishing will pick up. That's all I'm going to say about that. And remember, Joey Price from Priceless Fishing, he can get you hooked up with either a largemouth bass trip or a striper fish, so you can give Joey a call. I'll put his number up there, and give Joey a call if you're looking for a guide for striper or bass. Let's see. We had the mayor, Ed Lewis, was out here at Paradise Point. He did a local trip. He had 4 or 5 bass, and he started here at Disappointment Slough, Paradise, caught a few fish in Disappointment Slough, made his big run around, didn't catch anything, came back into Disappointment, caught a few more fish in Disappointment, 4 or 5 fish. It was tough, and Ed's a local guy. He's out here all the time, and literally the overwhelming majority of reports that I've gotten, and I want to thank you guys for sending in your reports, because all of you have reported that the fishing's been tough. There's been a lot of skunks, there's been a lot of 1 and 2 fish days, and every once in a while, a guy will get lucky like Ed and have a 4 or 5 fish day. But all in all, it has been tough, and there's really no patterns going on out here. Most people are throwing worms or crankbaits. Every now and then, if the wind picks up, guys will say they're getting them on a chatterbait. I talked to Rob Cloutier. He was out Tuesday morning with a friend, and they had, I think, 5 or 6 fish, mostly males. He's fishing the Central Delta. He's not going way south. He's not going anywhere but, right around the Central Delta, I'll say from Whiskey Slough out towards Frank's Track and everywhere in between there. Tough fishing, 5 or 6 fish. He's saying that he's seeing a lot of males that are starting to pull up. Most of the fish that they got were males. They were out Tuesday morning. It's Wednesday, obviously. Today I'm doing the report. I was out with my friend Mark Tuesday afternoon. Now, we had a difficult time, and we didn't get out till about 1. We had that low tide, no water movement at all. I think we had 2 fish, and we had a couple other bites. Other than that, it was just dead. I know I caught my fish on a crankbait. Mark caught his on a jig. Our only pattern that we found where we got the bites and the fish were at island points where there was a little bit of moving water. And remember, we hit we hit the low tide with no moving water, and it was extremely tough. So with that, I have a plan for myself that I formulated. If I had a boat, and by the way, let's talk about that. I've been without a boat for a month or so now. I did talk to Vexus. I'm getting my boat back hopefully in the next 2 weeks. And at that point, I'm going to be out. Man, I'm going to be out a lot. I'll be out 4 days a week, and I'm going to be able to give you guys a lot more of a detailed report. But my report for right now is that there are no patterns going on. Don't come out here and pick up one bait and just throw it and throw it and throw it. Change up baits, change up locations. If you are going to plan a day of fishing, if you can plan to come out when we're having a day like this where there's a front come in, and you can see it's cloudy, it was raining just a minute ago. Yesterday it was beautiful sunny weather, flat, calm. That's not the day you want to be out there. You want to wait for a day that has some fronts coming through, and hopefully those fronts will produce some bite windows. If you can't do that, if you're coming out this weekend and it's going to be beautiful, number one, I would not plan my day around low tide. Stay away from that if you can. Plan your day around high tide and wait for either the incoming high or the high outgoing. That water movement is key. Look for water movement. Fish your points. The first 3 baits I'd throw is a crankbait, a worm, and then a chatterbait. I know Rob said his partner, when he was out, got a blow up on a frog. So, you might even throw a topwater. But right now, we are in a reset mode, and what we need is about 5, 6, 7, 8 days of 65 to 70 degree water temps without these fronts coming in. The beautiful days, not so good fishing. The fronts are good for that day. Once we get 7 or 8 beautiful days, water temperatures, 58, 60 degrees, we're going to be just fine. the fishing will kick in and we'll be fine. But until then, I think it's going to be very tough fishing. So with that, let's just go out there and grind it out. Send me your reports and be safe. Till next week, good luck.